Welcome back to Bobbleheaded Homestead. I'm Jeff. The torn to shreds is taken apart. Hunter, thank you, Hunter, our mountain home. He was a big help for about an hour, and they're going to come back with their truck, and they're going to keep the frame. Frame might be useful, so they're going to keep that frame. Go check out our mountain home, and then eventually they'll figure out what to do with it. And then this tarp is junk, but there are ratchets and straps that might be useful in there. So Hunter just wants to take it home, and instead of doing that over here, he'll take it home so they can keep those ratchets and straps. And the tarp, you know, if you've just got small areas, you can cut pieces out of that are useful. I've got a bunch of like the old tarps that I take off my hoop coops. You know, usually there are sections that are still good and useful for other things. So you can keep on using them in smaller sections until they're just no good anymore. All right, what else did he help me with? Let's go take a look. Yesterday was a trip to town shopping kind of day. Getting chicken feed and some long water hoses. Yep. And so, yeah, while he was here, I'm like, dude, you help me unload this chicken feed? Because we hadn't made it to an hour yet. So, yep, good deal. I'm just throwing it in there for now. I'll have a better plan for this someday, but this works very good for right now. So yeah, I just backed up the Toyota over here, stuck it in there. And then I also picked up, all right, we'll walk over there. Garden hoses. So the progress on the Forestry mulching bulldozer is they're done, but because of the burn bans and all the wind, they could not finish burning the burn piles. So he said they'd come back and do that. It might be a while, but I'm going to try to get some of that done. But they'll probably just come back for a few hours with the skid steer and the grapple and help out with that. But we'll see how much I can get done before that. So I got 200 feet of garden hose. Can you see it? Yep. I also got a two-way splitter, and I got some quick connects and a nozzle. So I will feel a lot safer since I don't have any, you know, if you've got a skid steer and a fire breaks out somewhere where you don't want it, well, the skid steer would be good to have to help you get over there and put it out. And it also helps you pile up stuff onto the burn pile so that it burns better and all that jazz. But I don't have all that jazz. So, and I need the garden hose anyway, because if I'm gonna have chickens out here, yeah, look at that. Look at that clearing. Instead of hauling water, I'd rather, you know, move a hose around here and there. Or, you know, have a water station out here. Whatever. I'm not going to walk all the way over there. But I think you can, if I can get it behind me. There's a big burn pile back there. There's another one in the back 40. I wish I had a back 40. I have a front 3.5 and a back 3.5. On the back 3, that's what I'll call it, the back 3. Another big burn pile on the back 3. And I need another 200 feet of hoses to get back there. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But I want this burn pile done because it is time to plant seed. It is time. This is the perfect timing to plant seed. It's probably, we still might have an overnight freeze. You're waiting for the last overnight freeze before you start, for a lot of stuff, planting outside. And on average, our last freeze is like around the 10th of April. But it might come early, you know, it might be late. We might get in May, heaven forbid, and get a freezing night. But the chances of a freezing night go down every day now. But so this would be the perfect time. I've got, it's called a poultry pasture blend. And I'll be moving chickens back here. And so it's not going to make sense to seed it where the chickens are because you're just wasting your seed. But where the chickens aren't, I'm going to plant that poultry pasture blend so that I can, once it's grown and established, I can move the chickens there. And the poultry pasture blend is just, grasses that are nutritional to chickens, clover, stuff like buckwheat, millet. I'd have to look at the package. But yeah, I am not going to take up all this space with the chickens. So whichever areas, and like these, oh, my front screen went off. Oh yeah, I forgot to swipe to unlock. There we go. I forgot to research that last night. But I'm going to move those chickens too, because there's nothing green growing in their runs right now. So I'm going to move them out, and I'll spread seed where those flocks are right now and start growing the poultry pasture mix also. And then I also got some wildflower seeds to go along the property lines. So, and then a bunch of wildflower seeds to go out. Uh-oh, speaking of seeds, interrupted. I better go take this delivery. That's more pounds of seeds. Fifi, are you a little inspector? Things change. She's got to inspect. All right, that's a big help. Back there is where that burn pile in the hose is. And I almost forgot, let me turn you around. The main reason for that garden hose, it'll help when I'm burning the burn pile. It'll help when I've got chickens back there. But the main reason I want it right now is, if it doesn't rain, their seeds won't grow. So running the hose back there will help me with what's going on there. All right, let's sit down and go through my seed haul from today. I keep getting interrupted by seed deliveries. I know, man, first world problems. UPS came with the first box, and then post office came with this box just now. So I can do a seed unboxing. And they were ordered at the same time, and I think they all come from the same seed company. But one of them came UPS and the other one came post office. Figures. Oh yeah, same company. All right. So what do we got going on here? I should probably tell you my philosophy about lawn mowers and lawns. And my philosophy is grow food, not lawns. So there will be, I might have a little lawn here or there, but there will be no lawns on Bobblehead Homestead. There will be no zero-turn mowers on Bobblehead Homestead because I'm growing food, not lawns. And this is how you do it. Red clover. How many pounds? 5 pounds. Let's see. Half pound for 1,000 square feet. 8 to 12 pounds per acre. So this is like a half an acre if that's all you were planting. So we got some red clover, 5 pounds. We got some crimson clover. So the red is more of a purple, and the crimson is, like I guess a crimson, a maroon. and these are 20 to 30 pounds per acre. So, you know, depending on the area, I've got red clover, crimson clover. That was in one box. The other box, I got some white Dutch clover. White Dutch clover. Just got them off of outside pride.com, your online seed store. So yeah, 3 different types of clover. The yeah, anyway. The other box, Sunflower Autumn Beauty. See, clover doesn't need to be mowed, and it's a great food for bees and other insects. It is a nitrogen fixer, so it will put nitrogen back into the soil, and clover is just you know, all around good ground cover for areas where you've just cleared and need ground cover. Sunflowers are chicken feed, so in addition to them being pretty cool, and these I just got for being cool, because I'll put sunflowers in a few areas, but yeah, these are will be nice to look at. And then in the fall you can harvest them, dry the heads, throw the heads to the chickens, and then you got some free chicken feed. And I just bought, you can buy the black oil sunflower seeds in like 25 and 50 pound bags. Those will grow if you plant them. They aren't the biggest flowers, they aren't the best flowers, but they are the cheapest way for you to grow a bunch of sunflower seeds. And because they were bred for the oil in the seeds, unlike these, which were bred for the size of the flowers. So I'll be you know, instead of planting grass, well, I'll just do a big old patch of sunflowers in a few areas, and that'll be a lot more fun than, you know, hopping on your lawnmower and burning gas once a week to keep your grass that tall, just so what, you can look at it. About the only thing a lawn is good for is if you let it grow tall enough that you can, when you cut it, you can collect it and use it as a mulch. Or, you know, if you've got grazing animals, a lawn, well, then you don't want a lawn, you want a pasture. And you don't mow your pastures once a week. That's, you know, you're taking food away from your animals if you do that. So yeah, sunflowers. Oh boy. And then this is blanket flower. Blanket flower. This is a bunch of blanket flower. And this is, yeah, like along the, anywhere that I'm not putting chickens. So I've got a ton of blanket flower. This is more of a wildflower, natural, and and I've got enough to share. And then I just got a bunch of different. Here's a purple coneflower. These were from Nature Seeds, the other ones weren't. Purple coneflower. I got Shasta daisy. Yeah, who wants a lawn when you can have a field of multicolored flowers? Yeah, Cosmos mix. Yeah, you got orange and yellow and maybe some purples and whites. Cosmos mix. Sweet William. All kinds of different colors on Sweet William. Plains Coreopsis. Plains Coreopsis is kind of similar in color to the blanket flower, but I had a bunch of Plains Coreopsis growing wild out here already. So yeah, that'll be good. Where we got Prairie Rose. This is also called Arkansas Rose. It's not a rose, but it is a you know, red colored natural to Arkansas flower. So yeah, and then we got Sulfur Cosmos. So more varieties of cosmos, and then I got more blanket flower here too. Blanket flower is really cheap and it grows really well. And a lot of these are nitrogen fixing. So they, like when you bulldoze an area and you got bare dirt, that's why that coreopsis grew, is that it doesn't need much in the, as far as soil and nutrition goes. It'll grow in dirt. A lot of these will just grow in dirt because they don't need that nitrogen. They absorb it from the air. So, and in areas, I'll show you eventually where I'm gonna, I'm gonna do different mixtures of this in different areas. And so instead of growing a lawn, I'm gonna have nice wildflower patches. This I just got at a big box store. It's a zinnia mix. Thinking about doing this along the driveway on one side at least. But this is a 3-in-1. Yeah, it was worth a shot. So zinnias, big old thing of zinnias, so I can do a long row of them. And then this is the, pumpkin, Jack B. Little. That's what I'm going to be growing in the hugel culture. Yeah, I'm not going to take this one out. This is the South Atlantic Transitional Poultry Forage Mix. Oh! And I've got another big bag of this. I got 2 more big bags of this. So this is going to be what I plant where the chickens will be. This is what I'm going to plant where the chickens will be and where they are, where some of them are at right now. And it's got the mix on here. So it's got red clover, common flax. Flax seeds are good for chickens. Buckwheat, that is a good cover crop, also nutritional for your animals. And then it's got strawberry clover, white clover, and crimson clover. But the flax and the buckwheat, the clover stays close to the ground. Flax and buckwheat, I think, is a little bit taller. And yeah, I guess that's mostly what this stuff is. And this is coverage for an acre. How many pounds is this? 20 pounds? I think this is 10 pounds. Anyway, so this is enough for an acre, and this will be what I put where the chickens are going to be. Oh yeah, and then I am on my hugel culture this year. It's not going to be very fertile because those logs have not broken down enough yet. So my idea this year is just to grow a bunch of ground vining type stuff, pumpkins, watermelons, squash, gourds, and I might put some like cattle panel trellises or arches out, because I've got some, they're called egg gourds, that I got from Papa Pepper, and they're just these little gourds that look like eggs, and I could use them in the nest boxes instead of the ceramic eggs. So I might try to grow some of those from Papa Pepper. I have some Seminole pumpkin, which is like an old heirloom variety. I got those seeds from Jason at Cog Hill Farm many years ago. So I might try to grow some of those Seminole pumpkins. But I'm not going to do your typical veggie garden out there on the hugel culture. Yeah, just a bunch of ground vining stuff that'll take over and, create a natural mulch. But we'll get into all that. But that's why I got this, is for starting the pumpkins and all the stuff I'm going to do in the hugel culture. I got more of these too, which I just found. But I am going to need more seed starting mix. So I'm going to be starting some seeds really quick here. And thing people often forget about when you're gardening is they get excited and start all their seeds at the same time. Well, if you plant them all at the same time, they're all gonna ripen at the exact same time. So yeah, if you want a progressive harvest, you plant 10% of them one week, 10% the next week, and then go on, so that way you get a little harvest every week instead of getting all your harvest at the same time. They suggest that with, like, if you're going to do a bunch of peach trees, don't get all of the same variety, get different varieties that ripen at different times. That way you're not having to process all of them at the same time. You can spread that work out. So I'll be doing that with the squash and watermelon and pumpkins and stuff like that. And then all that stuff is chicken feed. So, if I grow a ton of watermelon and can't eat it all, well, then the chickens will get left over. And pumpkin, what do you make with pumpkin? Spice? Yeah. So that will be mostly chicken feed, free chicken feed, growing the squash and the pumpkins and the watermelon and the gourds. And, well, the gourds aren't good for anything other than, I might try some loofah gourds too. I think I found my loofah. They weren't marked, but I grew loofah gourds before and harvested the seeds. And I've got a big bag full of gourd seeds, and I'm assuming they're the loofahs. So I wouldn't mind. We'll see. Bigger dreams than I have the time and effort right now. So it'll depend on the help that I am able to get as to how much of this stuff I can plant. But the flower seeds, I'll pick areas and I'll have wildflower patches, bunch of them in the front yard. I'll have some sunflower patches, and then the hugelkultur this year will just all be ground cover type vining plants. In the future, that hugelkultur, I might turn that all into berries, rows of berries on the hugelkultur. We'll see, but for this year, this will be a good start, is just some more free chicken feed. All right, I think that's about all I got for you right now. That's enough activity for today. It is time for a nap. I'm not going to light that burn pile. Maybe after my nap, but then I have to stay up late. I don't know what I'm going to do. I wasn't sure that how far 200 feet was going to go from that spigot. So, and I do need to add another hose onto the end of it because it makes it to the burn pile. But if something were to burn on the other side of the burn pile, I don't think the hose would get there. So I'll make sure, and I've got another, might be a 50-footer. That's all it would take. But now I've got the hoses that'll go from property line to property line back there. Planting these seeds, you spend money on seeds. You want them to grow. So having the hose will help me do that. All right, I'll stop yapping. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything, and take it easy.